Hi, it's Kipper here, and I'm back for some more Star Wars The Old Republic stuff. And yeah, I've been quite unwell the last few days. I've been down with the dreaded lurgy. My throat has been like it's been assaulted by a cheese grater. Like it's been, yeah, definitely assaulted by a cheese grater. I was going to make some other analogy, but honestly, I'm a bit too knackered to. Right, so we've got crew skills, which is one of this crazy mad line graph with many letters and colours and lines and intersecting things all about. And it may look confusing, but it's not actually all that confusing when we get down to it. One of the things when I was playing the beta that I was massively confused about was how all the skills work together, because when you get a new game, you know, putting all that time and energy into crafting skills and gathering skills, only to realise about 10 hours later that you've got it completely wrong and that the things that you're crafting aren't very helpful to you, or they're not going to make you any money, or you've picked a pretty useless skill for your class. It's a pain in the arse, and it's very costly to kind of get it wrong and then have to go back and do it all over again. It's massively time consuming. And I'm going to be honest, when I was doing the beta, I messed up crafting several times, and it did my head right in because I couldn't really find anything about it on the internet or anywhere, for that matter. This graph that we have here, I don't know, graph? The graph? It's not really a graph. It doesn't really have any things. It's a sort of line thing, picture. It's something I've whipped up in Photoshop. I'm not going to take full credit for it, because I did find one which was similar, knocking around, and I basically used the base idea of it and then kind of went on to that. I think it's by a guild called Gambra Guild, and I give them full credit because fair play to them. I'd have been lost with crafting. I just didn't feel right upping someone else's work, so I did it myself. So we've got 3 categories here. We've got the gathering skills, crafting skills, and mission skills. Gathering skills, pretty much like any other game that you've played, you'll have nodes which are out in the world which you can gather from. You can gain materials, resources from certain nodes, and they're just dotted about anywhere. Depending upon your level, obviously as you gather sort of lower ones, your level increases on what you can gather, and you can harvest higher nodes and so on and so forth. So if you pick a gathering skill, you're really going to be wanting to gather with it from the start, because if you get to a zone which is, say, 3 planets in and you haven't done any gathering, you're going to be a little lost because you're not going to be able to actually gather anything from that planet. And you're going to have to go back to one of the starting places, which is something that I always do. You have to go back, and then you spend hours gathering on the starting planet, and then you go on the second planet and your skill is only 19 and you can't get that bloody thing again. And anyway, it's a massive head fuck. So we have the skills as we've gone over them. We've got gathering skills, we've got crafting skills. These are the production skills. So these are for making items in game. We'll go over those a little more later on. And we've got mission skills, which are a combination of getting money and materials. And also you can get companion gifts from those as well. And companion gifts, obviously you give them to your companion and it makes them happy. But not if you, well, or you can get laid from them. Well, that's a bit weird. I actually think that's a bit weird about this game. I'm not really into sleeping with companions, although Mako, actually, yeah, okay, right. I'll just leave that. We'll dally swiftly along and go through them. These red lines, the lines that you'll see here, got force users, non-force users, and all classes. I've put them together so that you can see which sort of gathering skills go with which crafting skills and which mission skills. So we have archaeology, which is colour crystals, power items, and archaeological items. I mean, I didn't get this far with a lot of them, but I'm going to think that archaeological items would be stuff like relics, which are, I guess if you went over to other games, things like trinkets. And that goes with artificing, which is another Jedi Force user one. We have lightsaber mods, enhancement mods, which are augments. They're things that you put into the lightsaber base model, and it makes it better. So like +5 hilt, or an enhancement with endurance. It's basically like a mod that you insert in. If you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know what I'm talking about there. And if you haven't, I think the one to go back to would be, I think it was a video I did on the user interface. There's a lot more information in there about sort of mods. And offhands, which are things like for tanks, they'd be power generators, or for sages or inquisitors, you'd have foci, I think they're called, which give you better force powers. And if we have a look at the other one, which is a good one, we have force user armor, which is synth weaving. That's to do with getting heavy armor. Heavy armor if you are a tank, and medium armor if you have gone for DPS. I'm pretty sure that if you're a Jedi Sentinel or a Marauder, you can only use medium armor, whereas if you were, say, a Jedi Guardian or a Sith Juggernaut, you can use heavy or medium. So synth weaving you can make, even if you're say a Sentinel, you can make heavy armor. So you can't wear it, but you can make it. And they go with, these two go with Underworld trading, which gets you rewards of metals and fabrics. I'm going to show you in about sort of like a couple of minutes some stuff on the end of this from a video which I made, and all the voicing went to hell, so I had to do it all over again, which was a real shame. But we'll go over that again. So we've got Underworld Metals and Luxury Fabrics, which is Underworld Trading, and Treasure Hunting, which is Gemstones and Lockboxes. Lockboxes give you rewards, like either a reward of credits or items. So I mean, you can pick them up in the world as well if you sort of kill a mob or loot a mob, and you can also trade them in. So they're the force users. Let's go in non-force users. Scavenging, you find sort of lumps of metal and stuff on the ground. You can just go and pick them up and harvest them. It's probably best that you go for arms tech or armor tech. Arms tech, obviously you're making blasters and weapons. They're good because you can either sell them or use them yourself. Armor tech, well, it pretty much speaks for itself. If you're a bounty hunter, you can make lots of big armor. If you're an operative, you can also do that. And we have investigation, which is research compounds, and schematics. Schematics are basically the base designs that you'll get. You can get them from looting from mobs. You can also get them from mission skills, which are here. Yeah, so you can get them from looting from mobs or mission skills. Basically, they give you, if you've got the correct kind of crafting skill for it, so like arms tech or armor tech. If you got a blaster schematic, you'd learn the skill for the blaster schematic, and then you'd get that in your inventory as a craftable item if you're able to craft it at your level. It's all pretty straightforward, really. And all classes, you've got bioanalysis. I think bioanalysis, which is the gathering of plants and compounds and things, and biochem. I think biochem is probably going to be a moneymaker in this game. Maybe not to begin with, but I think later on, as people start sort of hitting level cap, I'm not sure I've ever played a game where the equivalent of, say, potion making is not going to be a massive money earner. I think you're going to have a lot more running around gathering resources than most people. Or you could be a wily person and start sort of controlling the galactic stock exchange, like I try to anyway, by manipulating prices and being a real evil person, ripping people off and doing all those lovely, lovely things which bankers have taught us to do so well. But it's one of those skills which is going to make you money no matter what you do, because everybody always loves health potions. If you're into PvP, I would absolutely recommend biochem as one of your crafting skills. Simply because it's going to be one of those things that you're going to want. And that's, I suppose that's fairly straightforward. But even if you're not sort of into PvP, or you don't think it would be too helpful for you per se, if you want a money-making crafting profession, go for it, because people buy potions like anything. I think it was Ion, I think I made millions and millions of credits with ether jellies. Same goes for Rift with the big health potions. Yeah, I think these are always going to be like the money ones for me, like potion making professions. And we have diplomacy, which will give you medical supplies. The rewards that you get from these mission skills, they also can give you sort of epic crafting ingredients. And I think that's something that you've got to think. So when we say medical supplies here, you might get sort of like an epic ingredient which you can use for your biochem potions or stim packs. And then we'll talk about slicing. Slicing is an interesting one. Get, well, mission discoveries and credit boxes and tech schematics. If you're not going to be doing a lot of crafting, or crafting isn't your thing, because it doesn't have to be, and it's a game, and I'm not going to dish you if you're not a crafter, because that's not how I roll. If you're not into it, this is going to be a very, very good profession for you, because you can make a lot of money from just selling the items that you have on the stock market. I think a lot of the people in the beta that I saw, or the ones with the money anyway, they chose slicing as the profession. I'm not sure if it's going to get nerfed down, but I think this is, if you want money and that's all you're after, go with slicing. You'll find like nodes just like anyone else would in the world. The majority of them just contain credits. It'll be like bank vaults and those kind of things. But the other things that you get, the mission discoveries and schematics, you can sell those for a hell of a lot of money. So I guess I'll just stop wittering on here for a bit, and we'll take you into some pre-recorded footage. Hi, and I'm back, a curry and a couple of lemsips later. I think I'm actually developing quite an addiction to lemsip, but we shall skip past that and get on with some footage. This is stuff I recorded on the last day of beta. The voicing went up the wall purely because I'm incompetent and forgot to press the record button on Audacity. I'm about to sort of run through some crew skills. This is the crew management window. You can see where Mako is at the moment. They're my skills which she currently has. We've got salvaging and armor tech and slicing. You can see that the different levels are in that window as well. At the top, next to each one, there's a number that tells you your current level. These materials, which I bought from the auction house, you can scavenge those from nodes. I bought a load from the AH simply because it was the last day and I wanted to show you sort of like different things available. As you can see, we've got normal components, epics, and schematics, which are here. It's an orange artifact. Schematics are like plans, you learn them, so you just click on it and it takes you through. And we bring up the crafting plane, where we have a lot of different filters for things. That's the different types of gear, they're the different sources of gear, and that's the difficulty rating. The rating of the item, which is something that concerns me, because I don't want there to be gear score, yet items seem to have a rating and a level. So that's something which really concerned me. You can see on the right, as I go through these different items, it tells you the number of mats that you need. It's pretty much like any other game that you play when you were crafting. The difficulty level, depending on which, if it's red, orange or green, that depends on how much skill you can get from making that item. So if you make sort of orange items or yellow items, you're going to get more chance of increasing your skill points than you would if you were crafting green ones, and that moves up as your skill level increases. You can switch from your companions there, so if you've got a full crew, you can have them all making different things. As you can see on Mako at the bottom, we've got slicing efficiency and cybertech efficiency. So that basically tells you their abilities in making and crafting certain different things. So she's going to be more successful with slicing and cybertech, whereas somebody who, like Quinn, who's one of my other companions, he's going to have more success in, I think it's arms tech, which is making blasters. You just press craft, and as you can see, it kind of just fills up how many different sort of missions you put them on. In the bottom left hand corner, you can see there's a time, which timer comes up, so it's got 5 minutes 37 seconds there. So that tells you how long they're going to be crafting those different sort of items and how long that's going to take. Over here we have our trainer. Oh, and there's Warzone which popped up. Yep, so we have Armor Tech Trainer, and these are where you buy schematics for all the different stuff, and that's based on the level that you currently are in your skill tree, and you buy those for just normal credit, so you don't have to redeem any special items here or anything like that. This is the crew window again. You can see obviously what's lined up to be made and how long it's going to take, and cancel them out. Also from here you can link back in to the crafting window. There we are. And it's not revolutionary. I mean, it's not the crafting system I was hoping it would be. But that being said, it's actually quite a big improvement on sort of the crafting system that you'd see in Warcraft or Rift or something. I think that's mainly because it takes the pain and effort out of it. And I'm sure there are people out there who do like to spend a long time crafting individual items, and lots of them. But I think that overall this is made really for sort of speed and ease of use, and I think that fits in pretty well with what I was expecting. As you can see in the top chat window there, you can see my armor tech increased to 60. That's from crafting a yellow item. And I think I'll leave it there. I don't really have too much more to say on the matter at the moment. I think what I'm going to do is I'll probably go through each of the different crafting skills and do separate guides for them later on once the game is deployed. Show you the best way to sort of level up quickly with those, because obviously there'll be the most cost-effective way to do it, especially if you're leveling out or something. That's something that you might want to know about. Hey, thanks a lot for watching, and again, it's really lovely to see kind comments in the chat. I really do appreciate that. Thank you very, very much, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully I'll put up some more PvP stuff. So until then, Kipper out, have fun.